Okay, so that under that Hamitic pi versus the Greek pi, this article by Emmanuel Smyrna, who's touching on the arithmetical symbolism. We had touched on one equals the one, and the basic idea is that all other code numbers, all other of the biblical code numbers, are direct functions of the basic unity, a fact of considerable symbolic aptness. It has a lot of symbolic, in other words, on the proverb, and the proverbs and parable, and as an example, Misalayawi Nagaga, and we had reference Ephesians chapter 4, verse 13, where it's speaking on the purpose of the ministry gifts, and as a subject, Rastafari must grow up, that we must grow up into that unity, as this word right here says, to be that true body of Rastafari, that true community. And the unity is summed up here in verse 13, till we all come in the unity of the faith, until we all come in the unity of the true faith, the the true TEWAHDO faith. And we're not speaking of the Greek guys Orthodox, but we're speaking of the Ethiopic Orthodox, which is the which is the true or the correct or the righteous Amen, or hymenot, way of life. You understand? Admittance, hymenot, the hymenot. So tewahedo does not equal orthodox. We've been making this point, and we're gonna make it even in more detail for those who need to understand it. But tewahedo equals the true teachings of Getachin Yesus Christus, and the hymenot is the Ethiopic interpretation or translation of the idea that is known through the Greekization of the English language as called Orthodox. So it's a step back for Ethiopians when they just say Orthodox and they do not know their own roots, their own foundation, and they're not familiar with the hymenot. This is what it's speaking of right here, where it says, till we all come in the unity of the faith, of the true faith, and the knowledge, the gnosis, the knowledge, the epignosis of the Son of God, to a perfect man, to Kedamawi Haile Selassie, who manifested that not just in the word, but also in deed, to the measure of the stature of the fullness, the mula, the pleroma, you can say, if you want the Greek, you understand, of the Christos, of the Moshiach, that we henceforth be no more, children. You understand? Children, or childish, rather. You understand? Childish, not able to really properly understand, therefore can't really overcome such things as death, but say, I not die, and not even understand why. This is why I say that we as Rastafari, we must grow up. And such scriptures as Ephesians chapter 4, verses 12, you understand, 12 to 16 gives an example that I like to just share with you, why that true oneness. Here many people say, I need to unite like this, or we need money, or we need that, or we need next thing, and it's all this confusion. It's exactly what the word is saying here, that until we be no more children, you understand, tossed to and fro and carried about by every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait like an animal or beast, waiting to pounce, waiting to deceive. But on the other hand, speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, or the Ras, even the Moshiyach. Now this is it's very important for us to chew our food, our spiritual food here. But speaking the truth in love, he is the way, the truth, and the life. So the truth is the secondary matter, right? So this is speaking to those who are seeking to be in the way and walk the way. So the second matter is truth, and is speaking truth, actualizing the truth by speaking truth in love, that we may grow up. This is the key for us to grow up, to stop being immature as so-called Rastas or Rastafari, or as the elect people taking on ourselves the namesake, not living up or conforming to the one who is the Ras, even to the Moshiyach, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted, even like compressed, by that which every joint supplieth, every joint, every part of the body. And speaking of the community, when we say I and I both means I and the Father in the authority of the Son, and through the Son Getach Jesus Christos, and it means I as maturing, you know what I'm saying, growing up, and the community and the common unity, the common oneness, fitly joined together, compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, making increase of the body, making the this is what increased the body. You know, some say, well, you know, they want to get a place, you know, so we could put a sign up and say, all Rasta, come in hither, you know, or do this or do that or the next thing, and these are nice, you know, these are good human natural ideas from the natural mind, but we already have the spiritual mind, and this is what we need to reconcile, you know, reconcile our walk and our way with the truth. Okay, so that under that Hamitic pi versus the Greek pi, it's article by Emmanuel Smyrna.